Let me first start with the power of be. What is the meaning of that? And as we look at the artwork from this exhibit, what should we try to take from the title, Power of Be?
Very good question, man. For me, be is being. It's be still. It's becoming. It's blackness in a way I don't even know how to describe, because my sole focus right now is black. And it's telling our narrative. It's talking about who we are, what we've been, and so becoming beyond, because black folks will be in the future as well. It's about claiming that word, be. So it kind of starts with, because all the titles start with be, including the last two pieces we'll talk about called Beautiful, but it's all about claiming who we are.
In that be, did the title come first, or did you do the artwork first?
Everything, that's a good question too there, man. Everything comes from a spiritual place. And so when it comes often in dreams. And then I have to sit still and kind of wait for it to truly unveil and reveal. And so the first piece happened. That's a very large piece over there with the 4 figures in it. And that first piece happened because I just happened to be walking one day and I saw what's called a stretcher bar, perfect condition, sitting by a dumpster, perfect condition. And I'm like, that's odd. I'm gonna take it to the studio and I'll figure out something later on. And so I sketched out a shape of the stretcher bar and I did a sketch. And when I did the sketch, I'm like, I wonder, what does this mean? Because at that point I still didn't know. And then as I looked at it, I began to realize this piece, the title of the piece is called Becoming. But Becoming talks about when we came from Africa, through the Middle Passage, through the Civil Rights Movement, Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, all of that, to projecting the future. So it's Becoming. But in doing Becoming, there was one figure in Becoming that looked like a pregnant woman. And so came the second piece, which was called Beginning. And Beginning led to Beyond, Beloved, and it's like, oh, so there's something that's making sense here. So for me, it's very exciting because if I'm still, it reveals itself.
Wow. In researching you, one of the things I just was really impressed with when I read, it said that you knew possibly at the age of 4 that you wanted to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel from 4 to where you are now to have lived your purpose or living your purpose?
I've never really thought about it a lot until I talked to so many people that still haven't found their purpose yet. You know, it was something I took for granted that everybody had. And then I started asking people, like, for example, I have asked people before, when you were young, did you practice signing your autograph? And I'm surprised to hear so many people have never practiced to do that before. And like, I thought that was normal. I thought everybody practiced your signature. And so, I think I'm really blessed to kind of be in a place where I kind of have learned that everything that I do as part of my mission is bigger than me. And so if I understand that there's something that's leading me, that's controlling me, that's inspiring me, that's helping me, and that I understand that I'm just a vessel for the creativity that comes through me, then I can step back from a piece of artwork and be really thoroughly impressed with it. But I'm not impressed because I did it. I'm impressed that this came through me and I was given the opportunity to create it. And that's why also sometimes when I'm creating, I'm painting, I'm in the zone where I step back later on. There's certain parts I don't even remember creating. Those are the works that I realize, there's a higher source, and the higher source is what's working through me.
America must change issue.
Mm-hmm.
And you did a piece in her eyes.
Right.
And after I looked at it, looked at the description of the things you said, and I looked at it, the little girls, it's like it's not a happy piece.
Mm-hmm.
In speaking, you think little girl, you think happy, but in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and you've seen a lot,
Right.
we're still in that place. You said so much has changed, however, all too much has remained the same. And I seen you front line with the Black Lives Matters and the protests. Doing that today, with your art and using your art as a platform, how do you balance, the art and the message? Or is it in one?
It's very much in one, but also the idea is like I have to remember who I am. I have to remember where I come from and what I stand for. Like when my wife is a black historian, sociologist, and we talk about race all the time because race is in everything.
Right.
And race is in everything because of them, not because of us. They've chose to design it this way. But in understanding that, it's like we look at how subtle things have become and blatant at the same time. We look at systematic racism. We look at it now systemic, and we realize race is a part of everything. I had the oddest aha when I looked at a Band-Aid one day and realized it's pink because of the skin of who they assume their client is. And I never liked the idea that that pink Band-Aid would pop up off my skin like that. And I'm like, it wasn't intended for me. I was thinking that, this is really weird. I don't know if this could ever be put on here. I love my Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, right? And I love my sour cream donut in the morning, right? What I noticed is that if you get a sour cream donut in a white neighborhood, it's fresh. If you get it in a black neighborhood, it's drier. And at first it was like, well, we like them kind of a certain way. But it's like, no, because we're conditioned to get them a certain way. We always get the leftovers or the things that are a little bit more stale. That's systemic. That is part of, they don't expect us to expect much. And so we kind of like, my wife and I talk about a lot, like what can we do to further our race? What can we do to inspire and help young black kids to realize, no, certain things that you see are racism. But when we talk about my artwork, it becomes more like I've done nothing but for the last 25 years of my life, paint about our story. And so now it's like, I want to focus less on our story and more celebrate just simply who we are. And so I went back and started saying, let's just do beautiful black people. And almost say, enough said. Drop the mic and say, we are beautiful, we are powerful, we are profound, we are intelligent, we're all these amazing things. And so I keep going back to the civil rights movement and things like that. It's like, I'm preaching to the choir because a large majority of my audience is black and will always be black. We've all gone through it, we've all lived it. So it's like, why don't I just kind of like say, hey, let's start acknowledging who we are. And just say that we don't, again, the gatekeepers, the storytellers are often not us. And so we've been inundated with falsehoods. And so it's like, let's find ways to say, no, we are amazing. And like, let's celebrate that who we are. And I think that's what being is about. It's like, sometimes it's like, be still and listen. If you can learn to do that, there'll be amazing things revealed to you. That's been my journey. Like last year, like people ask, I've been doing this now for 45 years or so like that. And they said, like, tell me more about when did you really experience success? And I said, last year, but I've been doing this for 40 years and hustled, but motivated by the idea that I had something to say. And that's important to me. What do I have to say? And who am I speaking to? And I know who I'm speaking to, and they know who I'm speaking. They, meaning us, black folks, know who I'm talking to.
And just what you just said, and coming from a father who's an artist, his music, to be able to live a life doing art, that in itself is a huge accomplishment. Most people get pegged as a hobby, or they get pegged into it's a secondary thing. But to live as an artist, people would ask me, what did my father do? And I would say, he was a singer from the time that I was born until he passed. That's all he did. They said, wow, he never had to do anything else? And that's one of the things I noticed about your, for lack of better words, career in the arts. And at this point, another thing that's heard talking about giving back, to be able to be an educator, to work. Tell me about that experience. It says you're doing some teaching at spell now.
All right. So no. All right. So I mentor about 10 different young artists right now. I decided to bring it home because what I did when I was teaching in a university, I discovered the politics of universities. And art is one of those elective courses that you take just to get an easy grade. And so I had a lot of students upset because I was expecting them to do work. And I'm like, you know what? The reason I came here was to help you all. The reason I came here is to motivate and inspire and teach you something. And if your desire is just to get that easy grade and keep it moving, then I'm really kind of in the wrong place. And so I started to seek out, and they started to seek out me, young people seeking mentorship. And so it becomes very much about a serious conversation like, listen, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here to teach you what this world's about and what art's about and what you have to do. And part of it is like work hard. If you're not willing to do the work, like I'm about to get involved with a mentorship program through an organization called Powerhouse Creatives. And first thing I said to her when Ashley reached out to me, Ashley Nash is the organizer, I said, don't send me kids that aren't serious. Don't send me black kids that aren't committed because I don't have the kind of time that I can waste on people that aren't willing to do the work. And that's what the message is always about. Are you willing to do the work? Everybody that I see that's successful at something has put the work in and continue to put the work in. You know what I mean? And so it's like that whole realization. There's a writer by the name of Robert Greene who talks about mastery. And in it, he talks about the hours of commitment. Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hours. Are you willing to put those hours in? I promise you, I've put in 20,000, if not more, and I'm not done yet. And so it's all about that. It's all about teaching, but teaching them, it ain't gonna be easy. But I always say when I talk to an audience of young children, I say, find something that you enjoy doing and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Now, does that mean you won't get paid? No, it doesn't. But you'll be enjoying your journey along the way. You may get paid, but then you kind of like feeling really kind of freaked out sometimes because like people are paying me to do what I love doing, but you got to be willing to do the work.
And I just heard you say, and I already knew this, but you say you're not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
What does not done really mean to you? What do you want to do? What's the next big thing for you? I mean, it's already humongous.
Yeah.
With the Time magazine, all the accolades.
John Legend album. Don't forget John Legend album.
Yeah, most definitely.
Right.
What's bigger than those things?
Changing the black children around me to let them know that, like, because I've heard this most of my life, but you're Charlie Palmer. I don't know what that means. Like, do you think I came from the hood. I came from the projects. I came from a single mother that dropped out of high school to have babies and went back and got her bachelor's degree and then her master's degree in education. And so I look at that and say, there's nothing to keep me from doing anything. I look at her as an example. She was an inspiration for me. But I think that what I'd like to really, and I'm discovering more of that when I understand bigger, because bigger keeps coming up, is that like Beyonce's song is bigger than me, it's bigger than you. It's understanding that it's for the next generation and the next generation after that. Time magazine is the same thing. It's like, why is it that a kid of the 60s, myself, who was fearful of racism, is looking at my great grandkids now and they're afraid because they're seeing that nothing has changed. And it's that awareness that, it's like, we meaning black people, because I've gotten to a point where, my daughter accused me one day of saying that I was a racist because I didn't like white people. I'm like, baby, I don't dislike white people. I don't put any energy into white people. I put all of my energy into us, into my community, into my people, and I don't have time to hate because hate's energy. But I'm not gonna, like, if you look at the course, you look at the history, you look at everything, it's like, why am I putting any energy there? I no longer have to be embraced and accepted or understood by them. But I'm still trying to convince my people, because there are times when they're looking at me and they're misunderstanding some of my actions. And I'm like, you know what, if you know me, you know that everything I do is solely to further us.
And like I said, I looked at that journey, I read a lot of things, I watched a lot of YouTube posts, and I said, this man has a unwavering path. I mean, for you to like just cover like civil rights and the struggle, it's been since your career, not now. And in ending, there was one picture that I just really loved, that I really would love to see, and it was called Eminent Domain.
Oh, that's a whole nother story, man. That's a whole nother story.
With it happening now, you know, with the land grabs and the gentrification, that picture just, when I saw it and I was looking through all of it, I said, oh man. And it was a small picture, and I was looking at it, I saw it on my phone, and I would really like to see that.
I think, I've been wanting to explore that series much further, and I can tell you a little bit about that story. But what it was having the opportunity to do exhibits around the country. I couldn't help noticing from Little Rock to New Orleans to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is from where I'm from, Chicago, Atlanta. It's like, it's really interesting how the highways go through major black communities. How is that? Why is that? Like, if you look at, which is really kind of crazy, in Miami, there's Overtown. And Overtown is not the name of that town or that area. Black folks started calling it because the highway was designed and went over it. So you literally have to go 7 miles out to come back into Overtown. But they went through a major black community to build the highways. So the government used eminent domain to build the interstates throughout this country. But they always went through, not by accident, but intentionally through black communities. And you look at even like how they broke up Auburn Street and everything here in Atlanta, Georgia. But it has happened, like I've named all these places. I'm like, that's really, and when I was like, this is no longer a coincidence. So I started to do more research on it and everything like that. Yeah, they used eminent domain to intentionally interfere with sometimes very prominent and successful economic black neighborhoods in the country. Wow. So I'm exploring that. Oh, but if you look at that piece also, there is this image of black and white of black folks, old photographs, but you see on highway or interstate, but you also see what looks like this abstract shape. And the abstract shape is cancer cells. And the cancer cells are kind of from the fact my mom passed from cancer 12 years ago. And I one day was curious to say, what does cancer cells look like? And so that became this abstract representation of the government. So the government, and it also deals with the whole idea of food deserts. Again, it's like, you know, the food's not there, they're destroying it, they're isolating us, they're doing these things, and they're not accidental. They're all by design. So it's like the whole idea of our failing, when we fail, is because it's designed for us to fail. And so when we continue to succeed, it's again a testament to our strength, our intelligence, our resilience, our whole, it's like, y'all can't keep us down. Y'all can knock us down, but you know, like what Les Brown said, if you knock me down and I can look up, I can get up. And the idea is like, you're not gonna end us. You're not gonna like defeat us. We're warriors, and we're going to fight, and we're gonna continue to produce brilliant children. You know, we're gonna produce brilliant writers, brilliant artists that are making profound and powerful statements. You can't stop us. I did want to introduce Kenya at one point, because that's the other thing about my project.
Come on in, Kenya.
So the other thing, come on in.
He introduced you. You gotta get in the picture now.
I wanted to talk about the collaboration thing. That's the other part.
Okay.
You ready? You can sit down.
Okay. How you doing, Kenya? Tell us a little bit about yourself before you explain to us about the collaboration.
Does she need the mic, or did I just lean?
If you stand close.
Yeah, I was just saying she can feed into it. As long as you.
I talked pretty loud.
Oh yeah, just if you stand by her, I can ingest it.
Okay, so let me talk a little bit about what's going on here and going on in my journey. One of the things that I did not mention is there are original soundtracks, meaning like I got a producer, a musician, a vocalist to put together a song for Becoming and a couple of other things that people can actually download and hear it. And that was a collaboration that came from the idea that this could be more than just a visual experience. But then came Kenya. And Kenya will tell you more about herself, but we met like a year or so ago, and we immediately said, we gotta do something together. And like, so about 3 weeks ago, it was like, we gotta figure something out. And then we sat down and we collaborated and created the pieces on the end there. But Kenya, please tell them something about you.
So I'm Kenya, originally from Virginia. I've been in Atlanta 20-something years, I'm not sure. I am a fashion designer. I have a women's ready-to-wear brand called Sylvia Miley. I have been a full-time fashion designer for at least 12 years now. I have done everything from TV to magazine to celebrity design and style. And this phenomenal guy here thought that I was good enough to stand next to him and do some amazing art. And when Charlie, asked me to do this with him, I was like, "Are you sure?" And so, because I think that he is amazing. I don't like these are like Jesus fingers over here, you know. And so to work with him, I was truly intimidated because I'm like, this guy is super amazing, but his energy and his support and coming together was absolutely amazing to create the piece with. So.
How long was the project? I mean, when y'all first started, time?
And not that long. I think when two great minds come together, it moves pretty quickly.
Yeah, so it happened we knew each other for years.
Two great minds not on the same page.
Right. And it's always something that could happen,
Yeah, real quick.
No, but like with her, when I reached out to her, you reached out to me after I posted something about, and we started talking right away. We sat down that day or a couple of days later and we talked about what we wanted to do. And then it all kind of came together. It just came together. It came together real quickly. And just before I delivered the work, I had the flower and the ship idea.
Yeah.
And like, I want to add flowers and ship to this. What do you think? And so I sent it to her and she said, it works. And it just came together like that. And that's where, again, cause what she has not mentioned, she was a finalist in season 17 of Project 16.
Yeah.
Season 16 of Project Runway. And if you haven't seen it before, and I knew her from that, so when I met her at an event, I loved Project Runway. My daughter and I used to watch it all the time, so it was like, I know you, and we talked, and I'm like, we got to figure out something together, and it came together. And I like I said before, I want to do more together.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Y'all met in Atlanta?
Yeah, we met here at an event. Yeah.
Yeah, we met at the Essence event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, Atlanta's, like I said, I've been here since '79, and it's changed, and it's becoming that.
That's my birth year.
Art,
79. Make me feel
really
old.
happening. It's like really happening.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like a fake happening.
Yeah.
It's a really talented, like I said, I went over to the Courtney's thing, that Hidden Truths exhibit over at Peter Street. That's what I did in my last story on. And just seeing new artists and people, expressing themselves through art and having a place, Maya having a place over there to even do it. Because at one time there wasn't many places to really exhibit black art.
Yeah, if you think about creative, like Maya Bailey is like my little brother. Before he opened City of Ink or any of these places, he was tattooing out of his apartment. And I went over there and got a tat. And he's telling me about his dreams, like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And then I get to watch him doing it. I'm proud. I feel like a proud big brother. Because I'm like, everything you say you're gonna do, I turn around and there you are, and you're doing it. And that's the kind of energy that comes out of Atlanta.
There's so many great artists in the city.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, amazing art in the city.
And that's what we're into. That's what I was telling you, that's what we're into. We collective art collaborations. We want to cover the arts in Atlanta. We do it through Rolling Out. They gave us a platform in the culture section. And I just want to cover as many great artists from all
So many.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm thrilled, and I'm sitting here with Charlie Palmer, you know, doing an interview in Atlantic Mason's
Yeah.
gallery.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
where does that happen?
Yeah.
You know, for how I look at it. I mean, your journey spans back to 4 years old. You can see where it happens.
Yeah.
You know, but for us, you know, it's like, wow, you know, just the opportunity, and we're really appreciative, you know, that y'all took the time out to come, you know, and do this. And, you know, we're gonna try to do the best job that we possibly can, and put it out there, and continue, you know, to cover, you know, the art culture in Atlanta, and with substance. That really
That's
helps,
right.
you know, with,
Key word.
yeah, to have a message, to have a message, and sometimes some of the younger artists, once they see that their art can have a message, it kind of changes how they want to present their art. It's like maturity in,
Yeah.
you know, in the art world.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just very, like I said, very fortunate. You know, one, get to allow to artists, like I was telling somebody the other day, you know, you go to an art exhibit, it really doesn't have an age. You know, it's of all ages. You know, anybody can come in here and enjoy
True.
this artwork. I mean, actually, you probably bring some of them and they will be shocked. You know that, especially art people, you know, are at this level and doing these kind of things. So,
And-
once again, truly honored.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get some B-roll of us walking down here looking at the pictures.
Okay.
And maybe get a good explanation on one of your favorites. I posted my favorite.
That collaboration is my favorite. I absolutely love that collaboration. The blue one, that blue dress.
Which one is your favorite?
My favorite is the little girl, the beloved, getting the
Oh,
little mask
yeah,
on.
yeah.
I mean, because it's so today, and I can just imagine, you know, how that feels to a little kid having to get, you know, a mask put on with a helmet on, you know, getting ready to go out and got to get all, you know, geared up. And I just thought,
But parents, we as parents, we love our children and we protect them. And that's the thing about it. It's like it's so important that they get that message.